What's up guys, Duster McDangles back here with another video, and welcome back to the franchise mode rebuild series with Rick Rebuild. And in today's episode we're going to be getting into the first half of the season here with the Montreal Canadiens and see how we stand at the December, or I should say January 1st point. But before we do get into today's episode, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content, as well as continue the love and support. You guys have been awesome with the likes, comments. It makes me feel so good that you guys are enjoying these videos, and I enjoy making them for you. So let's keep that up, guys. Let's keep building this team and building the community, as you guys are awesome. But without further ado, we're going to be getting into the season here, guys. We're going to simulate, as we always do, the entire preseason, take a look at points, see how guys are playing, and then we get into the regular season. So hopefully things go pretty well. I'm really happy with our lines and what they're sitting at right now. As of right now, 3-0 to start the preseason, make that 4-0. We finally lose to Boston, we lose to the Panthers, but you know what, that's okay, because 4-2-0 in the preseason is, I would say, pretty solid. Dylan Guenther, 8 points in 6 games. That is very promising. Bruins are 10 points. They are absolutely buzzing, but we will have to see how things go. We'll simulate to the end of October and see how things are going. Fingers crossed that we don't have a bad injury bug this year. I know the last 2 years has been absolutely crazy, but fingers are crossed. Hopeful that we can get through a season without too many injuries. Offer for Niku, we're going to let that go by the wayside, as we lose in a shootout against the Maple Leafs to start off our season. We win in overtime for the second game, so we're getting points. That is what we're looking for. We need to continue that going forward throughout the rest of the season, so we actually end up losing to the Edmonton Oilers. Looking for a W in this back-to-back stand here. We got the Florida Panthers, which we lose in a shootout, but we come back the next night to beat. Ooh, that's actually a big trade offer right there. They do want us to give up a second-round pick, but Nick Schmaltz. Ooh, that could just be a nice little piece to just chill on that bottom line. Man, Jonathan Toews has very good trade value, though, which is kind of crazy. Kind of is an everything man. Nick Schmaltz technically fits the fourth line. At $5 million for 2 more years, we could honestly make that work. I mean, that is really nice. I low-key want to take this trade. This would be a really nice addition to the team. He'd fit right in on that fourth line and potentially even fit on any other lines. He is younger, 28 years old at 2 years at 5'8". That is very interesting. Jonathan Toews has 3 goals, though, in 6 games, versus Schmaltz, who's not really doing anything. That's tough. We need to look at their stats a little bit more. Face-off 72. Jonathan Toews is 92. As much as I want to take this trade, I think we're gonna let it go. Overall, Jonathan Toews is more of a defensive forward that really works on our fourth line. So we're going to decline that trade, as tempting as that was, and that would have been nice. But I think Jonathan Toews is really a good fit on that bottom line. As of right now, we are sitting, where are we? Second in the division, 8 points, right behind the Senators, who have 11 points. That is kind of crazy. We'll simulate their mid-month of October and see where things are sitting, or November, sorry, to see where things are sitting. We got a couple away games. We end up losing. Second-round pick for Milano. We're not going to give that up, but we need a W. We finally get one there against the Ducks. Matthew Phillips is injured. We'll let the coach take care of that. 5-2-2 so far. We lose to the Flames, which is unfortunate, but we are on top in the division, as we had a big W there against the Ottawa Senators, who are sitting in second place in the division. Get a trade offer here for Archer, plus a 6th-round pick. I'm just tempted to see, because he is a top 6 forward, low potential. Oh, wow. He's not very good at all. So we're not going to give that up for him. We do end up beating the New Jersey Devils. I do want to take a look and see the stats at this point in time, as we are now sitting second in the division. Dvorak, 13 points in 12 games. Pretty awesome there, man. The Senators are buzzing, although they do have 2 games in hand on us. That's okay. I want to take a look at trade values, to be honest, to see who is high, who is low. Like, what do we have going for us? Yzerman is sitting there very pretty, 6-6 in 12 games, so he's really getting it done there down in the AHL, which is very good for his development. Connor Bedard, he's got 4 assists in 12 games played. Not what you want to see, but that's okay. I think he'll figure it out. Cole Caulfield, pretty solid year so far, 3-4. Nick Suzuki playing on the third line. He's got 5 points, so nothing too crazy there. Klingberg, this is one of the guys that we might want to look to get rid of, just with his contract and his overall. We need a better number 1 defenseman. Kostin, he's got 6 points as of right now. Romanov, he's 1-1. Burakovsky, 1-3. So some of the higher scores are a little slow right now. Wu's got, he's +3 with 2 goals. That's not terrible. Marchenko, though, that is interesting. 7-4, so he's playing very well for his contract. Ryan Suzuki down in the AHL is actually putting up some pretty solid numbers. So it's going to be interesting here. I'm going to take a look at the trade block to see what we could possibly get for Klingberg out there on the open market, because we do have 2 first-round picks next year, but I'm thinking maybe we use one of those up to try and get a top defenseman. So I'm gonna take a look here and see what type of offensive defensemen are out there, and we will look to try and make a move. Here we are, guys. We've got a trade offer for Charlie McAvoy of the Boston Bruins. He is pretty much a 1.1 million more than what Klingberg would be making, but he is 88 overall, elite medium potential, and he fits all defensive pairings, which is kind of amazing what we're really wanting to look for here in a player. And the trade is accepted. So Charlie McAvoy is on the squad. He fits all defensive pairings, which I am extremely happy about. Let's go to edit NHL lines. I know Klingberg, it's early in the season, but I think for the future moving forward, this is the better move. Charlie McAvoy, 88 overall. He doesn't get pluses on that top line, which is quite sad to see, even though he does technically fit. Pesce and him don't really work, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. We still have the 2+2s on the bottom 2 pairings. McAvoy, I feel like he's going to be the better defenseman in the long run. Let's take a look. I'm wondering if he's technically a left defenseman. Pesce is technically a right defenseman. It's interesting. We'll move that over. Let's see here. Romanov. Oh, he is technically a right defenseman, so I'd rather him play on the right so he properly develops. But let's take a look. I haven't looked at the goalies. Mackenzie Blackwood, he's got a 9.18 with a 2.29, 5 wins in 11 games played. So hopefully this change on the back end is going to prove dividends for us moving forward, and hopefully start having a little bit more defensive output on the back end and win some more games. We are 7-3-2, but I think for the future, that's a good piece to the puzzle. Charlie McAvoy, he's going to be that cornerstone of our defensive core for the future. So moving forward with the simulation here, we got back-to-back homestand here. We got San Jose and Detroit. We win 5-0 against the Sharks, and we lose 9-2 against the Red Wings. That's a little concerning, but McAvoy is going to be injured until November 26th. So we bring him in, and then he gets injured, which, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, man. Jonathan Taves is down to a 79 overall. We might need to look to find somebody who maybe works a little bit better on that bottom pairing. We'll throw... I don't know who we're going to throw in. Technically, Fleury fits the first line a little bit better than what Sherratt would, but he's only out for a little bit. We lose to the Blue Jackets, man. We just can't put wins together with a solid team. We just, for some reason, can't find a way to get it done. Connor Bedard is going to be injured until December 1st. Okay, so the injuries are starting to come in now. Not what you want to see, but Suzuki technically fits that first line. Dvorak actually fits it better, so we're going to move this up. I don't think we have any scratched centermen. We do not. We're going to have to call somebody up here, which is going to be unfortunate. Or we could kind of leave it as is. Jonathan Taves fits on that second line. Burakovsky's got 10 points. Wilson, I mean, he's got 10 points as well. Marchenko, he's kind of flying with the points. Caulfield, Dylan Gunther. Okay, so we're not looking too bad. Loki, just want to throw a scratched player in here and don't really want to call anyone up. We'll throw Sherratt. You know, sometimes when we throw a defenseman on that bottom pairing for forwards, it somehow gets the boys buzzing. I don't know how, but it somehow does. So we're going to try it out and see what happens, see if we can get anything really working on that. But we'll have to wait and see if that's going to work out or not. As we try to finish editing these lines, it's a little all over the place, but you know, it is what it is. We'll throw Pesci in there. It is technically -2, but that's okay. We'll have some players back here shortly. We do beat the Capitals. We do beat the Rangers. Hey, maybe Sherratt on that fourth line is what we really needed. We're going to move McAvoy back into the lineup. That's actually really funny that Sherratt is in there and producing, but we'll get McAvoy back in there. That's one of our top players. He actually does get a +1 now with Pesci, so that's pretty nice there. He's up to an 89 overall. And as we continue on with the simulation, we got a game against the Florida Panthers. We win 3-2. Can we beat? We got the Battle of Ontario here. Connor Bedard is ready to come back. We lose to the Leafs 4-2, but Bedard is back, so we can try to get our lines back to what they should be. Christian Dvorak, man, he's putting up numbers in a contract year, and it's going to be really tough to not give him a contract moving forward. But man, oh man, tough decisions coming forward for us in the offseason as we're going to get Bedard back into the lineup. He only really fits that first line, which is unfortunate, but we get the +2s back. Caulfield, hopefully he can start buzzing a little bit better than what he has been producing. Jonathan Taves, I'm interested to see. He's got 4 goals and 5 assists, so I think this might be his last season with us, and then we'll eventually move on from him. But I am pretty happy with the way the team is playing at this moment in time. We've got one more month of simulation here. We're 3rd place in the division as it stands right now, as we'll take a look here before we start back up with the simulation. The Red Wings and Bruins in front of us. Take a look here in the other division. Capitals are perfectly at the bottom of the division, as the Devils leading the way in that one with some pretty solid point totals. Big game against the Sens. Hopefully we can get a W against them. I don't know if we won or lost, but we do beat the Flames, which is awesome. Jet Wu is fully healed. Didn't know he was ever injured, but we'll continue on here with the simulation. Always, the month of December is always a huge point for the team as we are starting to buzz here. 14-7-2. Islanders, pretty solid team, but we do end up beating them as well. 3-1. Vegas Golden Knights, Mackenzie Blackwood out until December 17th. So we'll call up our boy Primo from the AHL, and we'll give him a shout here in the major leagues, in the NHL, up with the big boys. He obviously will be our backup goaltender. At 80 overall, we'll give Allen a go between the pipes, but Primo back up to the squad. Allen, he's put up some solid numbers. 7 wins in 9 games played, 9.20 with a 2.17 save percentage. Let's go back to edit lines. We're going to have to throw in a goaltender. 73 overall isn't terrible, so maybe we keep Primo up with us. We do lose to the Golden Knights, unfortunately, there. Big games here against the Caps and Devils. So we got a loss to the Caps, but we do beat We do beat the New Jersey Devils 4-1, but we at least got a point out of that game against the Washington Capitals with a loss in the shootout. So Primo out. I don't think he played any games, but we'll get Mackenzie Blackwood back in there, who's having a pretty good season. 8 wins in 19 games played, .908 save percentage with a .276 goals against average. Hopefully you can keep that up and we can keep on buzzing here throughout the season. Demetrius Bradford is back. We do beat the Avalanche, so we're sitting at 17-8-3. I do also want to take a peek here at the AHL squad and also get them best lines. But Marchenko with most points down in the AHL. The boys they're buzzing. They're 19-8-1, playing some great hockey, leading the division, 39 points. They're not leading the AHL, which is perfectly fine. And Yzerman is leading the team in points, which is very awesome to see. First round pick doing so well, and he's leading the way on that top line as well. 14 goals, 13 assists. He might be NHL bound here in the future. Hopefully by next season we can maybe get him up to the big leagues, scoring some goals. Even Lawson Krause having a pretty solid year so far, but let's go back to the NHL. That's what we're worried about here in today's episode. At the end of this, actually, I do want to take a peek at awards from last season. I do want to take a look at how the team is doing, but we've got a couple more games here before we get to that point. We're going to finish things off here, try to get a couple more W's. I want to at least get 20 wins on the season before it is the end of the episode. So we only need 3 wins out of 7. I think it's definitely doable. There's 1 against the Jets, another one against the Blue Jackets. We need 1 in 4, and there we go. We got it against the Rangers. We got a back-to-back here, Nashville and the Rangers. Can we get maybe 1 more win out of these? Shootout loss. We beat the Rangers. Trade offer for Eberle. We're going to let that go by the wayside. Game against Pittsburgh to end the simulation here and end the episode. We do lose in overtime, but thankfully we do pick up a point. As the standings have it, we are first in the division, 47 points, 21-8-5. Panthers in second with 42 points. Devils, they're buzzing over there. Where are the Capitals? They're buzzing up the rankings, unfortunately. So their pick for next year isn't looking like it's going to pan out for us, but as of right now, I think we have the most points in the NHL. We're just actually behind the Devils for the President's Trophy at this point in time, as we're going to take a look at team stats. And actually, I prefer doing this on the view lines or edit lines page just so we can go line by line, and then we'll take a look at the goaltenders as well. But Dylan Guenther, starting off with him, 18 points in 34 games. Very solid stuff there. Bedard's picked it up a little bit. He's also up to an 87 overall, which is nice to see. 5 goals, 9 assists in 31 games played. Nothing too crazy, but he's growing. He's developing. As of right now, with the +2, he's up to an 89 overall on that first line. So hopefully he can pick it up. And actually, I'm curious what his stats are. Face-offs might be the issue as to why he's not doing as well. Maybe we're not winning the possession of the puck as much, but we got to keep him up there with the +2. Cole Caulfield is really putting up some points. 9 goals, 19 assists in 34 games played, which is awesome to see. On to the second line here, we get Klim Kostin, 8 goals, 12 assists in 34 games played. Very nice from him. He's up to an 85. Dvorak, 7 goals, 26 assists on that second line. 87 overall. He is on a contract year. He's definitely going to want a big payday. I don't know if we're going to give it to him. Marchenko, 16 goals, 17 assists in 34 games played. Pretty solid stuff from somebody who's only making $6.6 million for the next 4 years. We will take that. Third line, Tom Wilson, 17 points in 34 games played. That is actually very solid on a $3.875 contract. Suzuki, third line minutes, 16 minutes a game, roughly almost 17. 5 goals, 14 assists, +10. This is very nice from him, especially making 6.4 for the next 6 years. Burakovsky, he might be somebody we might want to try to move on from. I know we brought him in last year almost as a rent-a-player, even though he's on a contract of $866 for the next 2 years. 3 goals, 11 assists from somebody who's making that much. Honestly, I think we should move on from him, bring somebody else in. especially at that overall 85, making $8 million. I think that'd be nice to get him off our books, bring somebody in, and also open up some cap space for next season. Now, fourth line, Sonny Milano, 10 points in 34 games played. Nothing too crazy. I wasn't expecting too much from him anyways, but he's on a great contract. He's expiring here at the end of the season, so we'll have to try to work some things out with him, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. Jonathan Toews, 9 goals, 11 assists, 34 games played, 79 overall. He's declining. It's to be expected. He's a solid fourth-line player. He's got that 92 faceoffs. That's what you're looking for a fourth-line centerman. 3.775 for the next 3 years. We might want to look to move on from him in the future, but I think for this year, we're going to keep him around and see what he can do. Finally, Jordan Eberle. He's got 7 goals, 8 assists, 34 games played on that fourth line. Pretty solid stuff for somebody who's only making $285 for the next 2 seasons. Really happy with our fourth line output, to be honest, after taking a little more in-depth look at it. Brett Pesce, 6 points in 34 games played. Defensive defenseman on that first line. He fits every line, so he's kind of the magic man where you can plug and play on any line. Charlie McAvoy, who we brought in, again, he technically fits the top 2 lines, making $9.5 million for the next 6 years. It's pretty solid stuff there. I want to see what he's done since coming over to Montreal. He's got 6 points in 19 games played. Not crazy, but it's not terrible. Second line defense, Filip Hronek. He's got 3 goals, 8 assists, 34 games played. Nothing too crazy there. Same with Romanov, 4 goals, 5 assists. For somebody who's making 4 or 5, that's pretty solid for him. Jet Wu, he's got 5 goals, 2 assists. And then we've got Joel Edmondson. He's got 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. Not too shabby for a defensive defenseman on that third pairing. Taking a look now at the goaltenders. Mackenzie Blackwood, 11 wins in 24 games played. Isn't great, but he's got a 909 with a 271, 2 shutouts. Pretty solid stuff there for someone who's only making 6.3 for the next 3 years. And then we got Jake Allen, who's on a contract year. 13 games played. He's got 10 wins. He's got a 9.34 with a 1.92 goals against average. Do we make Jake Allen our starting goaltender? We might need to do that here for the next little bit and see if he can get some magic on a contract year, which honestly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Now, I know in the last episode, or the last, actually 2 episodes, I haven't had a chance, or I haven't actually looked at the award winners, I think, for the past 2 years. So we're going to take a look at that right now here and see. Again, Avalanche, Lightning, we know they've won the Cup. Actually, Blackhawks a couple of years ago won the Cup. But I'm more curious about the individual awards. Art Ross went to Patrick Kane and Eichel the past couple of years. Stamkos won the Hart, as well as Eichel won it the year before, so pretty crazy there. Boqvist and Makar winning the Norris, which is very interesting. Erik Karlsson a couple of years ago as well. That's pretty crazy. Lady Byng has gone to Patrick Kane the last 3 seasons, which, again, I don't know how the game can judge that specifically, but Patrick Kane has won it. Calder went to the, I don't even know these guys' names, so to their respective teams, essentially. McKinnon won the Conn Smythe, Kucherov the year before that. Vezina went to Francois last year, and Jordan Bennington the year before that. Vasilevsky has won the Jennings Trophy, and Anderson actually the year before, so pretty impressive there. Larson has won the Bill Masterson Trophy the last 2 seasons, which, again, don't know how the game can do that or how it can judge character, but it's whatever. Coyotes won the Jack Adams last year. Kopitar's won the Selke Couture the year before that, so they're kind of going back and forth with Barkov sprinkled in there. Stamkos winning the Ted Lindsay Eichel the year before, and then finally the Maurice Richard Trophy. He actually went to the Rookie of the Year, which is very interesting. So those are the awards right there. There are actually 2 more things that I do want to take a look at here before we close out this episode. One being the draft class. I do want to take a look, even though I don't think we're going to be big drafters this upcoming season, just with where our picks are probably going to fall. We've got some elite medium guys here at the top. Olin Nolan, I mean, this guy is looking very good. A's across the board. Second pick, Braden Pitt. I mean, solid stats. He's Milan Lucic, which actually would be kind of a nice shout to maybe bring him in if we possibly could. Sergei Koltslov, shot utilization. All A's across the board. Nicholas Backstrom, NHL ready. He's a centerman. We don't need centers. Isaiah Park, another NHL ready, A's across the board type player. He's putting up solid points. Another centerman. I mean, centerman kind of crazy here. 5'10", but he's Sean Couturier likeness, which is interesting. But honestly, I'm not blown away by this year's draft, which kind of is a good thing because maybe we load up on the year after that. As of right now, no gems or busts, but we'll continue on with the scouting as the season goes on. To end this episode, I do want to take a look at contracts and who we're going to have to re-up next year. We've got quite a few players that we're going to have to take care of, Gunther being one of them. And he wants, actually, at this point in time, he wants a very fair deal. Could maybe get him on a bridge deal at 6'5". Maybe 6'6". I think that would be a nice little shout there. We don't have a lot of cap space, as you can see there, 13 million. But I think if we can get him signed up for a nice bridge deal, that could really work in our favor. Again, Dvorak, he's going to want a payday. He wants 10 million. And obviously, if Gunther signs, we're not going to be able to give Dvorak the contract, which at the end of the day, do we end up having to trade Dvorak here at the trade deadline to at least get something out of him? That's going to be, we're going to have to wait and see. But other than that, we've got Hronek, who, I mean, 4.7, he does want to sign, so we can maybe get that basically down to 4 million. Sherratt wants to sign. He wants 2.3. We might let him go. He is aging, plus he doesn't actually play games for us. Sonny Milano, we're going to probably let him go. If anything, I would just bring up Kraus from the AHL, let him play games instead. And other than that, that's really it. So it's going to come down to, does Gunther sign the bridge deal, which then basically takes Dvorak off the table? We would have to, at that point, plus Dvorak doesn't want to re-sign, we're going to have to trade Dvorak, which is unfortunate. But at that point, we might need to move then. We'd have to find, I think, a second line centerman. So we'd have to basically 1-for-1 swap him for another centerman and maybe throw in a pick. So we'll have to wait and see when we cross that bridge when we get there. But that is going to be it for today's episode. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like on this video. Hope you guys have a good one. And as always, stay dusty.